Please welcome to the stage, Mark Pagan.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good. Decent? All right, we'll try to make that better. In 7th grade, it seemed like all I was doing was going to bar mitzvahs. And Josh Abramowitz, my best friend, came up to me and he said, dude, you're not Jewish, but we are going to hook you up with something for your 13th birthday. And him and my buddy Mike Cohen got together and they were going to invite everybody over to my house. And these guys were the most popular guys at Cabin John Middle School. And my main thing is I just wanted Sonia to come. I had a thing for Darlene from Roseanne, and she was like a Persian replica of her. And if she could show up, then my life would be perfect. So for this to happen, I had to take care of a few things. Need to get some new gear, some new Guess jeans, new Jordans. Need to make sure that that thing was cool with my parents. And I needed to get potty trained. So some kids, most kids, learn how to use a toilet by the time they're in kindergarten, not when they're growing their first mustache. Now, I want to be clear, it wasn't a problem with pee, super good peer. Wasn't a bedwetter, nothing like that. My issue was with pooping in the toilet. I didn't know until later, but it was a condition called encopresis. And it happens for kids where they withhold or control their bowel movements. And it can be due to like an early discomfort. It can be due to instability in the house. And in my case, it was a little bit of both. My dad was away most of the time, and my mom was pretty intense. And so I was just a scared kid. And I would look at the toilet bowl like it was a ghoul, and I hated sitting on this thing, and I just started holding it in. And my parents would take me to doctors, and the doctors would like, give him Metamucil, give him an enema, try a different diet. And my mom she ran out of options. So after a while, I was like, everything's cool, and I pretended for everything to be okay. And on the surface, it was, because I ate like a normal kid, I looked like a normal kid, and I did shit, just differently. And so every morning, what I would do is I'd go into our bathroom, and I'd take toilet paper, revolve it around my hand, take that, put it in my underwear like a maxi pad, and then I would go about my day, and at different points of the day, I would just let a little one out. So you and I might be talking, and I might be delivering a deuce at the same time. And it's not a good tactic for multitasking. I'm sorry to dismay anybody who wants to try this. But sometimes my body would just give up, and it would be diarrhea. But either way, I would go into the bathroom, and I would take this stuff out, and sometimes I'd put more toilet paper in. And it was working. I wasn't proud of this at all. Like, it's not a skill set I wanted to share with friends. Like, you guys think you know how you're shitting. Let me show you something. I felt terrible about it. You know, I couldn't do sports because there were locker rooms. So I had to change in front of kids. But here's the weird thing, guys. I never got teased because of it. Teachers, kids, nobody ever said anything. So I figured, like, I was either the Harry Houdini of excrement, like it's just really good at making it disappear, or kids just smell like shit, which I think is mostly true. But I had friends. Not only do I have friends, I had like 2 of the most popular guys at Cabin John who were throwing me the biggest party in the world. And I had to get this dookie situation under control. So I figured I should treat it like an athlete. And like I said, didn't play sports. I didn't know what that meant. But I'd seen Rocky IV about a dozen times. I knew it was a training montage. But I knew the most important thing is you needed a theme song. So I'm watching Pump It Up one night, and my favorite gangster rap group shows up, and they premiere their new video. And something clicks. I don't know what it was. And like some kids, they might have had Rafi or nursery rhymes, but I decided the Ghetto Boys are gonna potty train me. So I had my mom take me to Sam Goody. She bought me the cassette single, Mind Playing Tricks on Me. I don't know if you guys know the greatest hip-hop song of all time, but basically, the song charts the paranoia of drug dealers in Houston's Fifth Ward, ostensibly. The way I saw it, it was really about the difficulty of bowel movements. It's a pretty seamless analogy. And so I had my song, I had my jam, and so I went home and I started this training regimen. So week 1 was what I called seat calibration. Wasn't even used to sitting on a toilet seat, so each day I would just sit and move back 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. And this was going great. I was a really good coach. I even wore a bandana when I was doing it. Second week was something called seat extensions. And this is where Ghetto Boys came into play. I had my boombox in there. And I don't know if you guys remember hip-hop cassette singles. There was the clean side and then the dirty side. Yeah. And so I was in there. I didn't want to call more attention to what I was doing with vulgar lyrics or anything like that. I figured my folks were just like, okay, he just really likes this song. So I played the clean version. And during these seat extensions, I just tried to elongate the amount of time that I was sitting on the toilet. So day 1, play the song once. Day 2, 2 times. 3 times, third day, you get the idea. And by the third week, I decided it was time to drop a load. So I sat down, played my Ghetto Boys, and I told my body, we're gonna do this, and I loosened up. My body was like, my body must have heard me and was like, we've been waiting 12 years for this. Because all of a sudden the pipes got really loose, and I felt, I don't want to get graphic, but there's no other way to do this. I felt a little bit of crowning happening. And there was a slight moment, just a slight moment of a pinch. And I jumped up and pulled my pants up, and I said, I can't do this. I can't do this. I just had a cold sweat, and I was scared out of my mind. I was completely alone in this bathroom. And so the next day I went to school and I looked for Mike and Josh, and this is it. I can't do this party. And I find them in the cafeteria and they say, dude, Sonia said she's coming. And she's cool with the slow dance. What do you want for your song? And, you know, I stood there and I looked at them and I said, Tenderoni by Bobby Brown. And I went home and I went to that bathroom and I turned that tape over to the motherfucking dirty side. And I looked at that toilet and I was like, I ain't getting up off you until this gets out of me. I don't care if I miss my 13th birthday. I don't care if I graduate high school in here. We're doing this. And I'm not gonna lie, there were like 3 failed attempts. But on that 4th time, I sat on that toilet and I grabbed the sink and then the toilet paper holder and I scooted my butt back and brought my torso forward. And it was almost like an exorcism. I said, just get out of me. And my body got super loose. And I don't know if you guys remember Titanic, when they just start moving, they show like the engine room. It's like, pipes open, boys! And I felt this like torpedo starting to make its way down. And it was almost like a roller coaster right when you get to the peak. And everything just sort of paused. And I had this like out-of-body moment where I just looked at my life. I just saw everything, and I was like, I am tired of this shit. And so I came back to the moment, and I punished that fucking toilet. Yo, I pushed out a log that felt like the size of a football field, and when it hit the water, it sounded like a TKO bell. That was the only evidence I had, really. I was like, that was it? That was it? And I just jumped up and looked, and I kept pointing alone in the bathroom going, I did that! I did that! And honestly, I think I kept it there for about 12 hours. It just kept coming back, going like, yeah, I made that happen. Now, you might be wondering a few things here. Did this cure the problem? And there is no hyperbole. That was my Super Bowl, and I never, ever, ever had a problem ever again. Second thing you might be wondering, did I tell anybody? And I did. You guys tonight. I mean, are you kidding me? I had to get through middle school. You think I would admit that? And middle school wasn't that bad because that party was off the fucking hook. The whole world showed up, including Sonia. And we did our slow dance. And it was basically my bar mitzvah. And it felt good. It felt really good to be a popular kid. But more importantly, it felt great to be a regular one. Thank you.